the virtues of defending the innocent. When you defend the innocent, it's noble. Yes, it's virtuous. It's an endeavor that upholds the fundamental values of humanity. It reflects the highest principles of justice and compassion and courage. When you stand up for those who are weaker than you, if you want to talk about doing God's work, to me, that's doing God's work. You're standing up for those who can't stand up for themselves. You're protecting those who can't protect themselves. Selflessness, sacrifice, putting the well-being of others above your own. That's what a hero does. That's what cops do every day. That's what the military does every day. Put themselves in harm's way to help out others. And when you champion the cause of the innocent, defenders, they play a crucial role in the safety of every single person that's under their umbrella of protection. And Israel is protecting their own people. The results of it seem catastrophic on the nightly news. Row after row after row of buildings absolutely decimated. But Israel has made a decision, a commitment to protect their own citizens at all costs. They have put that umbrella over their own citizens. The number of rockets that Hamas has fired at Israel, according to reports, since October 7th, is 11,446. Is Hamas aiming at military targets? Hamas purposely seeks out civilian targets. I know this is getting to sound a little bit like a broken record, but what did you expect the Israeli government to do in this situation? How did you expect them to handle it? An effort to eliminate the infrastructure in which Hamas survives and thrives in. And by dismantling that tunnel network, that is what they're doing. Now, war is hell. Watching these videos, watching screaming parents or wailing children, it's not easy. Broken bodies, bloodied bodies, dead bodies. Yes, war brings widespread destruction to the infrastructure. But in this case, it had to happen this way because this is where the cowards were hiding. They were hiding, again, behind their women and their children. And yes, there's physical and psychological trauma that everybody's going through. We've got refugees and displaced people because of it. There is a humanitarian crisis that's happening in Gaza. So that's part one of what I wanted to talk about. Part two goes hand in hand with this. Yesterday I talked, before there were any UN people talking about this, I talked about where's the outrage. Actually, and I didn't even know this, the UN brought a number of leaders to comment on this, and two of the women had this to say. It's only about 60 seconds.
Do we believe the Hamas spokesperson who said that rape is forbidden, therefore it couldn't have possibly happened on October 7th? Or do we believe the women whose bodies tell us how they spent the last minutes of their lives? This goes beyond politics. If we can't agree that rape is wrong, then we have accepted the unacceptable. Then the question will be not what is happening in the Middle East, but what is happening to our humanity.
When I saw the list of women's rights organizations who have said nothing, I nearly choked. Where is the solidarity for women in this country and in this world?
All right, those are just a couple women who spoke out. Essentially, what I was talking about yesterday, they echoed it a little bit later on in the day. And I got to thinking about this. And I'm Now talking specifically to the men. In the past, I don't know, decade, we have stood by and we have watched these kinds of horrors happen. Right? We've seen it. The October 7th event was a culmination, if you will, of atrocities in some parts of the world committed against women. But even worse than that, we've now sat by and watched our children be sucked into that ugly world as well. Nobody seems to have an answer for what happened at Epstein Island. Nobody seems to have an answer for the thousands of kids that have gone missing at the southern border. Nobody seems to have answers for the massive sex trade that is going on around the world, where young boys and young girls are sold off into slavery. We talk about it on the air. We bring on people to talk about it. We hear it in the news for a little bit. We see a movie about it, and then it's gone off into the shadows again. So men, one of the sole purposes for our being is to protect, and I hate to say it, but we have all failed that miserably. That one job, I want to say God gives men one job, we failed. We have not protected the women, and we have not protected the children. And I think it's come to light with the over-sexualization of your kids in schools, this whole garbage transgender movement, where grown men are using bathrooms next to 5-year-old girls. We failed. And the apex of it was October 7th, when it comes to women, where maybe 1,000 women were raped and brutalized and killed. We failed that. And we should be ashamed of ourselves and hang our heads in shame.